Hey, welcome back. Now we have a new game mode class, and we also created a widget blueprint associated with the game mode. Now we have a few things we need to take care of, and one of those is showing the number of drones we have left to destroy. We're going to use a node called getAllActorsOfClass, and we're going to use the number of drones in our world to set the HUD text for our game mode HUD. We're also going to update the HUD each time we kill a drone so that it represents an accurate number of drones left in the world. All right, let's get started. All right, so first when I hit the play button, I see the countdown text, and that's going to be distracting, so we can hide that. So let's go to our game mode HUD, select that text widget, and set the default content for that text to nothing. I'm going to delete the 3, compile, and save that. Now if I hit play, there's no 3 there. We'll set that later. Now, we want to set the number of drones remaining. So we can start off by getting the number of drones at the beginning of the game. And when I say the words beginning of the game, you should be thinking begin play. So we'll do that. So first I'm going to comment these 3 nodes, and I'm going to say add game mode HUD. And after that, we can set the number of drones in that HUD. So we need to get the number of drones in the world. Now there is a node for getting all actors of a specific class. It's called getAllActorsOfClass. So let's use that, and we get a drop down to select the class, and we can choose drone pawn. So let's hook that up. Now getAllActorsOfClass returns an array. That's why we see this symbol here instead of a circle. This is the symbol for an array, specifically an array of actors as it's color-coded. Now, an array is a collection of items, all of which share the same type. And this array has a length. We can drag off of this and type length to get the number of elements in this array. So notice the length node takes an array as input and returns an integer value. That's the number of elements inside. And since getAllActorsOfClass returns an array of actors, all of which are drone pawns, we know that this number returned by length is the number of drones in the world. So we can use this to set the text on our game mode HUD. Let's go back to that, and we see that this text is called drones text. We want to set that text, so let's go back and set it. Now we know that we have a reference to the game mode HUD. It's our variable called game mode HUD. So let's get that. And from our game mode HUD, we want drones text. Now notice on drones text, isVariable is not checked. So we need to check that and compile first. Now back in FPS game mode, we can take our game mode HUD variable, drag off and type drones and get drones text. And now we can set the text on that text widget. So we're going to type set text and use the set text function. So let's hook that up, and we'll drag in this length value to inText to get a toText conversion node. Okay, so now we're setting the text on begin play. Let's highlight this, add a comment, and say set. I'm going to use the pound symbol for set number of drones and compile. Now let's hit play. And we now see drones remaining 2. Now, of course, this isn't going to update when we destroy a drone because we're only doing this in begin play. See, I just killed one and we still see drones remaining 2. So we need to update that. Now, I'd like this to be your challenge. First of all, we need an integer variable on the game mode to keep track of the number of drones. Add this integer and call this number of drones. Initialize this in begin play once we get that value. Now you're going to add a new function to FPS game mode. Call this drone died. And in this function, you're going to subtract 1 from the number of drones, and then update the HUD using set text for that text widget that's displaying the number of drones in the HUD. Now, kind of brainstorm in your mind a bit and think about where we should be calling this function, and then we'll call that function together. So pause the video and create this new function and add the new integer variable now. Okay, so here on the game mode, we're going to add a new integer variable. So let's click Add Variable, and we're going to call this Number of Drones. I'm going to change its data type to integer. Now, here in Begin Play, we're getting the number of drones and setting that number on the HUD. Let's also set our number of drones variable. So let's drag it in, get a setter there, hook it up right here. It doesn't have to be before we set the HUD text, but I'm going to set it before, and I'm going to get the value from our length node and plug it on in. So now we know the number of drones, and it's stored as an integer variable. Now we need a function. So let's create a new function and call this function DroneDied. And in DroneDied, we need to subtract 1 from the number of drones. So let's get number of drones, and if I drag off and type a double minus, I can use decrement int, and that will subtract 1 from the number of drones and update that variable. Now, once we've updated the variable, we need to update the HUD as well. So let's get our game mode HUD and get our drones text from this and use a set text node. We'll drag off, type set text, and use the set text function, and we'll simply plug in the value of number of drones. And we also need to hook this up to make sure it gets called. So now we have a function we can call when a drone dies. I hope you thought about the best place to call this. Now I'd like to call this in the drone pawn class when the drone explodes, just before we destroy the drone. So in the drone pawn class, here's our explode function. And before we destroy ourselves, I'd like to get the game mode. And we can get access to the game mode by right-clicking and typing get game mode. Now, this returns a game mode base object reference, and we can't access that DroneDied function from a game mode base. It has to be an FPS game mode. That's where the DroneDied function is. So what do you think we're going to do to be able to call that function? You guessed it, we're going to cast. So we're going to cast to FPS game mode. And as FPS game mode, since we're now the FPS game mode data type, we can call DroneDied. So there we go. We'll call DroneDied, and then we'll call DestroyActor. And in DroneDied, we'll update the number of drones and then update the HUD. So we should see the number update on the screen. So let's go ahead and hit play. Now on the screen, I see drones remaining 2, which is accurate. Let's destroy a couple of drones. Now I see drones remaining 1. So it's updating. Let's kill the last drone. Oh, I ran out of ammo. I gotta get ammo. Oh, I was too late. But the drone exploded, and now drones remaining is 0. So we saw that it works when a drone explodes itself on us as well. I'm going to just pick up some health. Great. So now we can see how many drones are left. This gives us a sense of progress in our game, so we can see whether or not we're close to the end, and this will help out when we have a timer applying a bit of pressure and a sense of urgency that lets us know that we can't just linger around, that we have to clear the zone in a set time frame. So we'll work on that next. Great job. I'll see you soon.